So the fact that you're watching this video is going to mean that you are here to basically hear what I have to say about this problem that I have. Well, it's not really a problem, but it's an issue that came up with my fanfiction thing. So if you're not here for that, then don't watch this video. It's not meant for you. Anyways, so continue on. Since I don't have a lot of time and I want to get this over with quickly, I am actually doing this video for the second time because I had actually already had it uploaded and ready to go on my channel, except I was kind of thinking about it in class, and I was like, there's a better way that I could actually word this instead of taking 20 minutes of my damn time in order to waste someone else's time. So, I just deleted that video. It was already on schedule to upload, but I just deleted it, and here I am doing it again. So hopefully I can make this a little bit more concise. So basically, the issue here is that recently on one of my fanfiction stories, I received a review from a gentleman, or gentlewoman, I don't know the gender here, but from a person named Nippon Kogaku. And I've already talked about this before, but unfortunately I'm making this video because that person doesn't have his profile or her profile on you know, so that I can actually reply to the review and not have to make a video about this. This would have been a lot simpler if I had just been able to send a review directly to the person, not have to make a freaking video. But you know, I mean, if people are that sensitive to having their own reviews reviewed, then, well, here it is. Anyways, since I did promise I'm not going to take up too much time, this is a pretty long review, honestly. I think this is the longest review that this story has ever gotten, my Kantai Collection one, and half of it was admittedly stuff that he said, oh, this is what I like about your story. You know, I think these are parts that you did well. But right now, because I'm not here to debate what he thinks is good about my story, because I'm here to debate what he thinks is bad, let's get straight to that. So he says that my only problem with this piece of fanfiction, and by the way, I will leave the link to the website that has all my reviews for my particular story in question. He says that my only problem with this piece of fanfiction, and it's a serious one, is that this is not a Kantai Collection fanfiction. Huh? That's not me saying huh, it's him saying huh. Let me put it this way. Say that we take an extremely cliche setting, the Second World War. One cannot send Civil War soldiers to fight the Second World War. One also cannot send modern Delta forces to fight the Second World War. Excuse me. None of these soldiers, parentheses characters, fit within the setting, yet that is exactly what is happening here. The Fleet Girls have no place in your world, however dark and detailed it may be. One could replace your Fleet Girls with Terminators, / Autobots, / Incredible Hulks, / Brotherhood Paladins, and still get pretty much the same overall story. Really now. Aside from the names of characters and the reuse of KC's resource system, fuel, ammo, bauxite, or steel / bauxite, this fanfiction has little to no connection to the game. For 36 chapters and 250,000 words, there has only been one naval battle. One. That's not me emphasizing it, it's him. Or her. I saw that you tried implementing the fleet formation mechanism, Lionhead versus Diamond, but it played almost no role in the fight. The rest of the battles have been fought on land, sometimes with a helicopter gunship support. You need to understand they are Fleet Girls ships, and this goes without saying, but KC is a naval battle game. Let's not grab its characters and throw them into a mix of Fallout and Call of Duty. It would be more fitting instead if your post-apocalyptic world is something more akin to Waterworld, I don't know what that is, with numerous small islands and floating settlements, but as it is now, you're having ships fight in the middle of the Mojave wasteland. Really. You're really better off replacing them with Terminators or military androids at this point. And then I think he goes on to say, I came here to read a Kantai Collection fanfiction. What I got is a post-apocalyptic shooting game fanfic with completely irrelevant characters, parentheses the Fleet Girls, thrown in. I'm still going to follow the story because blah 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 blah. If I do take the consideration of Fleet Girls in consideration, however, it, meaning my story, would be a massive failure. Really, replace your quote-unquote Daemon with Soap McTavish and Power Army. Replace your Fleet Girls with Sentry Bots and call of Duty / Fallout New Vegas crossover. It would be much more fitting. Note that in the very beginning of this review, he says, and I have to ask, have I actually played Kantai Collection, as in me? And to that I answer, no, I have not played a single hour of the damn game itself. I'm only interested in the characters, and that's why sometimes it doesn't seem like there are a lot of connection between my story and the actual game itself. So if that's the case, then I apologize, because I have virtually no experience of how the game actually runs physically. I only know, how it functions just from people talking about the game and watching a few videos on it. But other than that, I have actually not played the game itself. And the very next line, he says, "I'm not trolling or trying to be condescending or anything. Promise. It's just that there's a serious problem with this entire fan fiction. Judging by your tone, saying that replace your Daemon with Soapy Television Power Armor, replace your Fleet Girls with Sentry Boss, and call this a Call of Duty Fallout New Vegas crossover." With a line like that, I'm not really too sure if I'm too inclined to believe that, you're not trying to troll or be condescending or anything, because it certainly seems like you are. Basically, you're saying here in your review that my story is not actually a story that it's intended for. It's not actually a fan fiction of Content Collection, which I intended it to be. And here's what I had to ask you, Mr. or Mrs. Nippon Kagaku, the person who left this review. How the hell are you so sure? What makes you so inclined to believe that you know so much about Content Collection and so much about what defines a fan fiction that you get to sit here and put a half page worth of a review, basically, and slap it onto my story and say, you know what, this isn't a story and I don't like it? What makes you say that, huh? Because in my opinion, a fan fiction is basically a story written by a fan that takes characters or settings, or mechanics, gameplay mechanics that is, from a particular story or game, and creates a story out of using those characters or those things in a way that the fan, me, sees fit. And if that's the case, then how can we say that my story is not a Content Collection fan fiction? And I do see the reasoning behind your logic. I do see that, hey, there's a little bit of validation here. That, yeah, if I were to replace all the Fleet Girls, all the characters in the Content Collection with, just androids, then, just switch their names around a little bit, then, yeah, maybe, excuse me, it would just turn out to be all fine and dandy. There wouldn't really be a serious, dichotomy between this and what it could have been if I just change the names around, But that's not what I'm trying to get at here. Am I trying to make a fucking Call of Duty / Fallout New Vegas crossover? Is this listed under that category? I didn't think so. So I'm not really too sure why you have to bring that up here of all places. You're kind of wasting your time and mine by making a review based on the fact that, or the assumption or / belief that, oh, this isn't a KC collection because this isn't what the game follows. Bitch, does a fanfiction have to follow exactly what a story has, is in its reality? Really? Is that really what it is? On top of that, a lot of the fanfictions on fanfiction.net anyway, that are listed under the Content Collection category, are all, basically more or less the same traditional cookie cutter, oh, you got an admiral sitting in his office, and he instructs his ship girls to do this and that and whatever. I've read plenty of, slice of life, or maybe a little bit more dramatic Content Collection manga written or drawn or, produced by other people online that all follow that same one. And I was like, you know what? Because I want to make a fanfic of KC, but I don't want to follow that, that formula, I'll make something different. I'll make something that's completely different than what it really, what people usually think of KC. And that's what I produced here. And admittedly, I didn't really make that intention clear on the very first chapter. So maybe if I had said that, maybe you would have worded your review a little bit differently. So, it's not all your fault. Or I don't want to say fault. That's kind of an iffy way to put it. But overall, just to wrap my this video up, this review tour review up, your complaint, I kind of liken it to how the latest DMC game, the latest Devil May Cry game came out, where I don't really know the full title, but maybe it's just called Devil May Cry. But the most recent one that I can remember, a lot of DMC fans, especially the the hardcore fans, really bitched about when the producing company, I don't know who they are, I can't remember name off the top of my head, but a lot of hardcore DMC fans really threw a fuss about how they took Dante and turned his hair like just normal, a normal color. Like, I don't know if it was a brunette or, or just a regular dark-haired kid, but a lot, the game got a lot of flack just because the main character had his hair color changed from white to another color, like a normal looking color. And what's funny is that the company itself made fun of that, made fun of the fact that people were bitching about how they changed Dante's hair color by putting in a scene in the game where Dante gets like silver hair or gets like a silver wig put on it, or silver wig, yeah, wig, put on him in one of the first opening scenes or whatever, and he makes a really snide remark saying like, that doesn't fit me or something like that. I don't know how it goes, but something along the lines of that. And this is what I really get reminded of when I look at this review, or when I read this review. It's like, okay, you're taking something something extremely superficial, making a big fucking deal out of it. Okay, that's great to know, because just like how that Devil May Cry game changed one thing about the main character that seemed to be a really fucking big deal to the fans, I'm taking the characters and I'm putting them in a whole different environment. And while maybe it's, comparing this to the whole DMC situation isn't the best analogy that I could have made, the reaction is definitely what I'm trying to get at here. Your reaction to my use of the characters from Kantai Collection is exactly what, in my eyes anyway, is exactly the kind of reaction that hardcore DMC fans gave when they realized Dante's hair color is fucking black instead of white. What is this heresy? What is this hypocrisy? And when you just take a step back, you kind of need to realize that's fucking bullshit, and that's kind of ridiculous to think that you would make a big fucking deal out of something so trivial and so irrelevant. I tend to write my stories in a unique fashion, in different ways, let's say. And the fact that you're sitting here not accepting that I'm taking characters from a game that, I admire, I don't necessarily play, but I really like the characters from said game, and just using them to create my own story. Unfortunately, I'm here to have reviews, or if I do get reviews, I really want them to be reviews that help me build my story. Constructive criticism is what I'm getting at here. This is not constructive criticism. This is just your own bitching about how my story doesn't fall under your expectations of what you think a fanfiction should be. That's not constructive criticism. So therefore, you, sir, have just wasted 13 minutes. This video is about 13 or 14 minutes long, and I spent around like 20 minutes making that other video that I mentioned earlier. So congratulations, you just successfully made me waste a half an hour of my time responding to some bullshit review that I have no business responding to, but yet I feel like I should, because I think that you are genuinely misled. I think that you're not approaching my story. I don't know how you approach other stories, but you're not approaching my story with the right kind of mentality here. And I heavily recommend that you change your kind of mentality while reading my story, because it is not going to fit, your expectations of what you're looking for in a KC fanfiction. It's just not. And while I'm going to say right now that I can't tell you what to do, and I don't care, what you do in the end, you shouldn't have these preconceptions of what things ought to be when you go into something and actually do it. In this case, reading a fan fiction of some game or story that you like to play or read. So I just want to end it there. That's enough for me to say. 15 minutes is plenty of time, if not more than enough, or more than necessary to respond to this. So yeah. That's to you, Mr. or Mrs. Nippon Kogaku. I'm not really too sure how you're going to stumble upon this video, but if you do watch this up till the very end, then I applaud you, because not a lot of people have the patience to read reviews to their own reviews and not get pissed off. So thank you very much. I'm done.